My reaction when I was first told that I couldn't use Asperger syndrome anymore. What am I supposed to use?
Hi, welcome back to the channel. As always, I do want to thank you for taking the time out of your busy day to stop by and visit the channel. If you're new here, after the video, if you enjoy the content, please give it a like. Also, consider subscribing and ringing the bell so that you can be notified when new videos are uploaded. So, getting into the topic of Asperger syndrome and why it has become this hush-hush taboo term. Before we get into the historical meat of things, in short, Asperger syndrome is a neurological disorder that shares many characteristics with autism, and there are many that it doesn't. In the next video, I'm going to break those down, but this video is one that I didn't want to just come out of the gate with when I first started the channel, because it's something that just really has me hot under the collar, if you will. So in 2013, Western psychology stopped, or I should just say Western medicine, stopped recognizing Asperger syndrome as a separate diagnosis from autism. Now, you have to dig back through history to find out one of the big reasons why this happened. So the term Asperger's was designated as a diagnosis from a gentleman named Hans Asperger, who scientists often referred to as a pioneer in the study of autism. Now, he has been erased from his work and from a lot of the medical journals based on his involvement in World War II. Now, I won't go into a lot of the details because I don't want this video to get deplatformed, and I want as many people to see it as humanly possible. If you're interested in a deeper dig into the history of Hans Asperger, then I encourage you to do so on your own. I'm not going to do it on this video for the reasons I just gave. Now, the big thing about this, and I'm not alone in my opinion on this, when Asperger's was removed from DSM, they also made the diagnosis given to millions of people, including myself, a stigma. It became a taboo thing that you're not allowed to say. If today someone talks to me and they say, and they want to know more about me and things, I still say that I have Asperger syndrome. And you wouldn't believe some of the looks and some of the comments that I get, but that was the diagnosis I was given. Now, I have spoken to a lot of Aspies across the world, not just here in America. And many of them have decided that they're going to hold on to their diagnosis. One, that's what they were given. And two, when you strip somebody of a diagnosis and the disorder is still there, the limitations and the way and the experiences of how they can experience life, they're still there. You took away a diagnosis, but you left everything else. And many of them felt like their diagnosis was stripped from them. And with it being stripped from them, it left them in limbo as to, how do I define myself? Part of my identity has just been taken from me because of the skeletons in the founder's closet. What do I do with myself now? Am I still, are my disabilities, my challenges still valid? Am I going to have to seek out professional help and go through a second journey of diagnosis just because the term isn't allowed to be used anymore? That's where a lot of people, including myself, were left when this changed. it it is infuriating to know that Western medicine can just drive something that way. And it makes me wonder if these things happen all the time, where a diagnosis just disappears because they decide it should disappear because, again, of skeletons in people's closets. You know, history is full of ugly things, but it's also full of remarkable things. And having a diagnosis that also informs people and begins the process of a person who's been diagnosed with whatever to be able to say those words and know that professionals have an inkling of what's needed, of what type of support they should be guided to. That's something that I wouldn't want to take away from anyone. Honestly, I would want to be supportive irregardless. But here, not so much. It's just not happening that way. I mean, what if the person who discovered cancer had big nasty skeletons that were discovered next year, and then all of a sudden they said, well, we aren't going to use cancer because it validates that person. Do you have a backup word that you would want people to use? I mean, I'm giving that an example, and as crazy as it sounds, it's not that crazy, because millions of people in 2013 lost their diagnosis and the ability to talk about part of their identity. It became something that you just didn't say. And these things shouldn't happen in the medical professional. I didn't get an email, and I didn't get a mailer or a phone call for a survey on rather if I would want to get rid of that and move to this or stay where I am. We didn't get a choice. So all of a sudden, we're now in a place where we thought we were finding grounding, and now that grounding has been taken away. And so now we have to try to seek it out somewhere else. All of that being said, is one of the reasons why I named the channel the way I named it, Logical A Meets World. I knew a lot of this before I created the channel, and that's why the A is where it's at in the title. So that whether you are diagnosed autistic, whether you're diagnosed Asperger's, that A is for you, for however you define your identity as it relates to being on the spectrum. There is no judgment and no correction on the terms that are used, that you use for yourself on this channel when you comment. If you say, hey, I'm a fellow Aspie, that's great. If you say, I'm someone who is late diagnosed autistic, and these things I had questions about, or I wanted to comment on this video, that is just as great. This community struggles enough trying to fit in a neurologic in the regular world, and we frankly don't need any additional challenges, to be honest. So I'm going to wrap the video up here. If you have enjoyed the video and like the subject matter, please give it a like. If the topic of Asperger's, autism, the spectrum, all of that is something of interest or you can get value from, then please consider subscribing to the channel and ringing the bell so you can be notified when new videos are uploaded. So until the next time, have a good week, everyone, and I will see you around.